Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to go over the 2.5 day on May 11th.
Yeah, we had some pretty good opportunity here, both nighttime and daytime. We're starting with the nighttime fishing. Most of the fish we landed in the nighttime were like 60 to 120 pound fish, so good grade.
It looks like you had a little bit of weather, boats rocking a bit.
Yeah, the first night out, the wind was up a little bit. It was kind of tough to get down there. Guys were getting bit on the heavier knife jigs, 500 gram, and like the 16 to 20 ounce rigged up torpedo sinker.
Yeah, I was going to say my 300 gram, I don't think could get down into the zone with that kind of weather.
Yeah, it's like we touched in one of the earlier videos. The more wind, the more weight you need for your jigs to get down there and get to depth correctly and have a chance to get bit.
So is it mostly nighttime fishing for the tuna?
During this trip, we actually had a really great shot later in the trip in the daytime, but this was the best time to get the bigger fish.
So would you say that everyone who was fishing was pretty prepared for the size of fish that you guys were catching?
Yeah, you can see most of these people have the right rods and right reels for it. Some of the guys were not as experienced with the bigger fish. Right here, this fish, I think if we had had a little bit better technique on it, we would have landed it right here. You can see how he's kind of following the fish with the tip of his rod instead of pinwheeling the fish and keeping his rod straight out. If he could have turned the head right there, I think we would have had a shot. And then you can see the rod tip kicking straight. You got to really watch that rod tip when you're fighting these big fish, and you have to wind it back down.
I think it's really important too that knowing when to stand up and sort of have a better angle on the fish, like when it's going down under the boat or even when it's right at gaff. You just really want to be conscious of where the fish is at and where your rod tip is.
Yeah, exactly. If we had done a little better there, we would have got that one. They almost had a gaff shot on it. The daytime, we had a few kelps that we hit. There was some mixed grade yellow on it, so that gave us a little bit of fun to look for during the day. And then we got lucky and got on this school of bluefin during the daytime.
Was it mostly sinker rig setups?
We saw a couple fish up at the surface, so we decided to deploy fly line mostly. A lot of the guys went a little too light, in my opinion. I told them the fly line gear, and we hooked 14 fish on the stop, but some guys got bit on like 25-pound test, 20-pound test. Those fish were very hard to land.
It's so hard because you want to get bit, right? So using lighter line, and you'd say you'd rather get bit, but just really have to be prepared if you're fishing lighter line to really not land that fish.
Yeah, and these fish are mean right now. It's 62-degree water, still very cold, so they are not getting tired at all. There's a lot of oxygen in the water, and they're fighting hard. You can see Keegan on the rod right now. A lot of these fish were finished off by the crew, so we don't have video of all of them coming over the rail since I either had a rod in my hand or a gaff in my hand a lot of the time here.
So you mentioned earlier about the rods not having enough backbone.
Yeah, a few of the fly line setups here did not have enough backbone where guys couldn't really pull the fish in. So that's something that we're going to touch on in a later video.
And so how did you end the trip?
We ended up with 23 bluefin and 23 yellowtail for our 23 guys. So it was good quality. We wish we had a little bit more quantity.